Anybody new at the
I'm
meeting?
new. It's my first time.
Who's this?
Phil.
Oh, Phil. Nice to meet you, Phil. What
Nice to meet you
brought
too.
you around here?
I've been listening to your videos for about 6 months, and I happened to check your website and found that there was a meeting available. So here I am.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, today is the message. The topic is under the umbrella of non-duality, which means the topic is duality, obviously, because you will arrive where you already are by negating that you're somewhere else, really. Yeah. So it's the cat. So again, you arrive at where you already are by negating that you're somewhere else. Yeah. It's obvious. Most people, where they think they already are, they'd like to go. They want things to be different and better and longer and happier and clearer, more HD. So in fact, it's wanting to arrive at what we are is a desire to leave where they think they are. Now the point is, you're not where you think you are, which is the good news. Yeah. So you can start doubting the GPS when it tells you it's gonna be 4 hours and 20 minutes and whatever it is. And there's great faith in the GPS. I witnessed it once. I was in doing a talk outside of Boston in a town near where Henry Thoreau lived, in that lake or that pond, Walden Pond. So we were driving and we were sort of late and pretty rural. And then suddenly there was a commotion near this railroad track, and there was these stop signs. And so the cops were there, and all this stuff was going on. So we opened the window. We asked him, "What's going on?" And he says, "Well, a lady turned onto the railroad tracks. She was listening to a GPS, and it said 40 more feet. So she not only overrode the hearing of the railroad tracks, she kept going for about 20 more yards on the railroad tracks. So she was really stuck." And that's a faith in the GPS, so to speak. Well, a lot of people believe they have faith, or there's a faith like Christianity or something. But really, if you look at things, faith is why it looks the way it does right now. And so faith, we have a thing in AA. I'd like to read this, even though you're not in recovery. It doesn't matter. There's a lot in this book that's pretty cool. There's a paragraph on page 53 under the chapter of We Agnostics. And it starts with, that's where, oh yeah. But let us think a little more closely. Without knowing it, which is the condition, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith? For did we not believe in our own reasoning? Yeah. Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? What was that but a sort of faith? Yes, we had been faithful, abjectly faithful to the God of reason. So in one way or another, we discovered that faith had been involved all the time, which would include now, yes? So we're at the effect of faith already being directed. And when someone says they don't have faith, that's faith, yeah? They have faith in the idea that they don't have faith. So faith is sort of like a force, and it's going to manifest by the vehicle it's put in. So knowing it or not, as it says here, without knowing it, There's a large amount of faith, and it's no one else, no one's dishing it out. There's not a person. It's an energy, yeah? And that faith is moving through and being directed, and in that direction it manifests. And basically, we are experiencing the manifestation of faith. So there's faith in this idea that we're a thing, we're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. We're the thinker, the doer, the haver, the feeler, the winner, the loser. And that faith is producing effects. Yeah. Now, that same faith that's being used, let's say, to enslave you to this mental idea today, through today and tomorrow, the obsession with yesterday and tomorrow, that same faith would be enriching your day if it was directed differently. Yeah. Now, AA boils down to two possibilities. Perhaps there's a better way, trusting something infinite rather than finite self, if you want to use the word faith where trust is. So first, to tell the truth that there's faith in finite self will lead you to the possibility of that faith moving to the infinite. Yes? It's just that simple. If you try to move the faith as the finite self, that's more faith in finite self. You have to see it because it's the logic, or it's the seamless logic of non-duality, really. Self cannot get out of self, yes? That which is playing God, if it attempts to stop playing God, that's playing God ad infinitum, yeah? So this whole idea of getting out is based on faith that we're in something. What non-duality is a negation of that which we think we're in. And then the desire, or all the effort and all the seeking to get out, there's a loss of interest in, yeah? So you are actually being directed by the possibility and a fact that you are what you're looking for, yeah? So the looking for it severely diminishes when that happens, yeah? And then you don't waste any time or spend any time looking for what can't be found. Yeah. So you get the great joy that people would love to arrive at, which is being in the moment, but you don't get there by arriving. You get there by realizing you've never been out of a moment. Yeah. It's quite different. There's no effort in that journey because there's no journey. There's no mileage. There's no lifting. There's no doing anything. There's a recognition, a tactile recognition. You've never been out of a moment. So the desire to get into the moment ceases. I would say in some cases permanently. Yeah. So all this infrastructure, this interstate highway system gets closed quite a lot. Maybe all at once, but one's highway at a time. And basically, you run into the dead end, and there you go. It's over. Yeah. So I haven't spent a second looking for what can't be found in a long time. So I hope this message gets through. Not to you, because you, in a sense, are the obstacle. You, presented as the hearer, is the obstacle to hearing. Yeah, with the idea of being the hearer is the obstacle to hearing, and hopefully, the message isn't about hearing the message. It's about there is no hearer of the message. Yeah, I hope you're hearing that that there's no hearer of the message. Yes. And it doesn't move from that target, yeah? Because it can't miss the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent space. But it can miss us, which is the good news, yeah? So hopefully this message goes over your head, because that's what we're targeting. We're trying to go over your head, yeah? And that which is hearing it is limitless, but that which is seen as the hearer is quite limited. Yeah. So you can confound it, frustrate it, overwhelm it. It's sort of like a juggler who thinks it's really good as long as it has two balls. If you throw another ball in the mix, it flips out. Yeah. So this is basically about short-circuiting the system that wants to know, wants to get it, wants to experience it, wants to have it. When is it going to stabilize? And then there's a loss of interest, and now you're, instead of looking and wanting to know, you find out. Yeah. You find out a whole lot, and a whole lot of it doesn't have to be put into name or form or said or written. It's just it almost like injects more emptiness into the emptiness. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So I heard the message through satsang. I read about it, but the best delivery was satsang, I felt. And in the satsang, some of those highways were closed, some over time, some like immediately. And I remember the day I was sitting somewhere and listening to someone, and I knew I was never going to ask another question again because I realized the futility of the answer, wanting to get an answer, yeah, to a question. So, and that's held water for years. And then these other things fell apart, yeah, and felt an unspoken yes or a knowledge before knowledge. These things occurred while sitting at satsang. Seriously. Not at, the 8,000 feet high on a cliff, though that would have been nice. It was just at satsang, yeah. Sitting there, listening, and a lot of imaginary houses fell just by that. So I have great faith in satsang, and that's why we're here, really. We don't give anything else to do. And I'm not even telling you to go to satsang, really. But now that you're here, I believe the readiness is always ready to hear the message. Yeah. And the relevance that we put on or put in the action figure getting ready or not doing this or doing that is temporary. Yeah. Its ability to obstruct is quite temporary. And in time, it can appear as if it's working. But the fact is, when this is seen, it's seen not through time. And so it's always been this way. So whatever you thought you lost at time or it should have been earlier, it has no meaning. Yes? Because earlier and future are appearances in timelessness. Yes? They're an activity called time that's appearing in timelessness. So when you arrive at where you already are, how you're greeted is on having never left. That's the whole point, yeah? It's like a homecoming. And then let's say you believe you left and did something that exiled you, and then life works that out or doesn't, and then maybe you give up the ghost, and suddenly, no time at all, there you are again. And then the same thing will hit dawn on having never left. And one of the times, you're going to hear it. I don't know which one, so we just keep showing up, yes? That's a saying in AA, I need to go to a meeting. I don't know which one, so I go to a lot of meetings. So, yeah, that's... the penny drops, and there you have it. So non-duality, in a way, the way we see it is the only way you can arrive at where you already are is through negation, yes? In other words, we're negating the miles, we're negating the distance, we're negating the requirements, we're negating all this stuff. instead of adding on to affirming it's going to take requirements, affirming it's going to take distance, affirming it's going to take miles, affirming it's going to take a lot of work. We want to negate. We're just going, it's in another direction. Yes. And it's right in the title, non-duality. You don't run into non-Buddhism, you don't run into non-Kabbalah or non-Catholic. You may be one, but you don't run into it. There isn't like Catholicism and next door non-Catholicism. Yeah, this is the non is negating something that seemingly appears to be so, or is taken to be so, or is constantly reinforced and implied to be so. And it seems that it can disturb a situation seriously enough that it needed an answer. So that non-duality showed up as a rebuttal to how we think things are. Yeah? Because how we think or have been thinking things are isn't true. So non-duality is here to negate the misunderstandings, not really to become a new understanding, yeah, but to negate the misunderstandings and to bring us not to a reliance on an intellectual understanding or on a philosophy, but to get a sense of the I amness, yeah, and to have that be your guide or your GPS or your touchstone. It's readily available at all times, right where you are, no matter what condition you think you're in. I mean, what better solution could there be? Yeah. So we arrive at that solution, being that solution. Hold on. We arrive at that solution, being that solution. Yeah. By negating what we think is wanting a solution, which is the seeker. So instead of the sought and the seeker, with this dynamic, with this dynamic, which is the basic Model T of spirituality, yeah, its basic format, there's a seeker. It could be man, woman, kid, adult, oldest, younger, whatever, and then there's the sought. Wait a minute. Yeah. He was persistent. Yeah. Yeah. So there's the seeker, all sizes, shapes, yeah, ages, education, sought. Yeah. Most things work with that format. Seeker, sought. Seeker is somewhere other than where the sought is and has to do things to arrive or be purified to get it or whatever. Yeah. But there seems to be a distance which the mental state just breathes a very hearty relief because it knows you're never going to get out of it as it. So it doesn't mind you seeking for years. And it's so weird because in the business of spirituality, it may take lifetimes. That's an incredible extension that you may be in seeking mode for a long time before you arrive at the sought. So what this message does is the seeker is the sought. Yeah. So here's all this possibility with this dilemma, this little definition: seeker here, sought somewhere else, maybe. Yeah. A lot of shenanigans can happen. And then it's just like seeker is the sought. What? Yeah. Why can't I get that? Because it's already happened. It's never not happening. That's why. That little second that the head implies you creates thousands of years between you and what you are, seemingly. Yes? So you're not going to get there through you. It's a negation of you. You already are there. You're not going to get there through a you. The negation of the you already are there. Yeah. So seeker and sought, let's say you read the Course in Miracles. This will save you time. So, yeah, seeker, sought, getting closer. Yeah. But because the seeker is playing God about the sought God, the seeker will say, I did something back. I just lost 100 yards. A couple of hours or months. Oh, I really did something stupid. What? So the distance between the seeker and the sought is based on the seeker. So there's a playing God with the sought called playing God. Oh, I'm getting warmer. I'm getting warm. I'm getting hot. Oh, I'm cold. I did something. Warmer. Oh. I had an experience, but now I've lost it. It's like an accordion. But you're playing the role of the monkey. The accordion's being played, and you're bouncing around. So now, if you want to have really good skin, clear eyes, be able to, have a certain sense of equanimity, detachment, bend better, stretch longer, go into it. Become a spiritual yogi. And you'll be able to heat, even though you have a heater in the house, you'll be able to heat yourself so you'll never get cold. And maybe, hey, you save on the PG&E bill, but, or you may levitate, half a foot, but what's going out, what does that bring that walking to would bring, I mean, seriously, where's the, or a loving gaze that can't be broken, and I can sit silently for 30 minutes. Fucking crows can do that. Yeah. Other things can do that. Go see a heron near the pond. They don't move for hours. So this is a negation. Yes, that's the direction. And so the migration of faith is seen as a loss of faith. That's how it's seen. Yeah. You lose faith in that which you seemingly have been relying on. And that faith moves to something that's worthy of faith, tell you the truth, yes? Seriously, yeah? It's worthy of faith. And one of the many effects it produces, I would say there'll be an overall traveling lighter as this experience of an action figure. Yeah, yeah? Because you really won't take yourself so seriously. Yeah? And you'll have faith when there's no reason to have it, yes? It won't be based on circumstances and situations. It'll be based on a light that outshines circumstances and situations. Not your light, yeah? And so the great faith you have is really losing faith and having that faith migrate to something that's worthy. And now effects will be produced, but they'll be a lot different than the effects that were produced by the faith in the mental condition, yes? So now you won't be determined by yesterday and tomorrow and thought, you'll be determined by now, yeah? And when someone like I meet and they say, how are you? I really don't know, tell you the truth. At that moment, I don't know how I am because it's like moving sand, to speak, yes? So I heard it, and then there was corrections in satsang, which is I was attempting to arrive at the seeing through the seer, yes? I didn't get the immediacy of it because there was a little grandfather clock, Paul, ticking. And then once there was a sufficient enough loss of interest, the immediacy of what is obvious, yeah? And then blue is blue and red is red. Things have become clear. Not where I put my keys, but I mean other things. Yeah. Some other things get much more confusing, like how to get out of the house in one try. It seems to be like an Olympic contest because it's very difficult because I forget a lot. But there's no forgetting that which doesn't need to be remembered. Yes, it just is. So, yeah, I don't care how much I have, I don't have a big opinion of Paul taking 4 attempts to leave the house. It's just the way it is. It's okay. I'm not going to die on that hill. You know what I mean? So I feel like it worked. It did what it was needed to do. It brought me to a lot of dead ends that actually were huge vistas. Yeah. I love when the mental highways get closed. I do. Because then that myopic, focused, trying to arrive somewhere opens up to like a panoramic view. Yeah. And then you see a whole lot more when you're not looking, tell you the truth. Yeah. And your attention isn't focused or enslaved, so it can go like to the hummingbirds or to whatever. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's not chained like and only has 20 feet of leash. It's free ranging. Yeah. Yeah. And there's just a sense of onness. You can't get around it. So the best we can do really is reverse engineer. Yeah. So what happens, there's relief, and that relief isn't from bondage, it's before bondage. Yeah. But that relief allows you to see that the relief is before bondage. It's not an after effect of you getting out of bondage. It was always available at all times. Yeah. Yeah. And it allows you to see why you're never going to get it, because you see that you is a mental activity. It's not based on truth. Yeah. So before, I'm never going to get it was seemingly bad news. Now it's hallelujah. Yeah. It's great. I came to terms with that a long time ago. I've been trying to get out of here since I was 6 years old. The only reason why I'm not trying to get out, I realize I'm not in. That's it. I couldn't get out of the dreamt as the dreamt. That's what. And the dreaming has no interest getting out of the dreamt because it's not in the dreamt. It was only the dreamt that wanted to get out of the dreamt. It was only the dreamt that was chanting, I'm not a body. Hours and hours, only reinforcing the idea that it was a body. I didn't know that earlier, but I've seen it now. You don't need to see the emperor with no clothes that many times, yeah? If you see the emperor with no clothes, you'll see any wardrobe change it has. You'll see it with no clothes. I always use that thing because it made a big effect of when I was younger, like 12, I saw my mother naked in a compromising position. And I wish I didn't ever see that. It was disturbing to the 12-year-old head, Catholic kid's head, but I couldn't shake it. So no matter what, at any point in time, my mother could be fully clothed and I could have a shock of that memory come up. So this is sort of similar in a way. When you see something with the emperor with no clothes, well, there's no emperor, but it's a good example. Something doesn't forget that, yes? It leaves an impression that you can rely on. Yeah. Well, let's open up to anyone.
I don't see any hands up right now, Paul. Anybody have any questions for Paul today?
Well, we've come to the point.
Oh, no,
Who's
here we
there
go.
to awaken and to what? Oh,
We have Chris.
almost got out. There's
Chris
Chris.
is faithful. No,
Sorry, Paul.
Chris is faithful on his
I think
question.
Chris is paid somehow. I think Chris gets a check for this. All right,
What?
it's okay.
Look, I felt bad for you, like that apparently no one wants to talk to you, so I thought I'd just
It's
reach out a
okay.
hand to my brother. It's something
That's
I've been.
one of my agendas, to make it through a day without anyone talking to me. I'm trying my best. Tomorrow may be the day. No, Friday,
Well,
really.
I don't want to tell you how to operate, but holding Zoom meetings is probably not a good way to achieve that goal. But
It's okay, yes. I'm an attendant at this Zoom meeting.
I heard a saying about a year ago, and I think it was from a Zen person, and I just thought I would get your comment on it. It was, the witness is the last stand of the ego.
Well, yes.
That's it. That's all I got.
Just hear the word witness. What does witness imply? Someone who is witnessing. Yeah?
Yeah. It feels less like the self, but it still is.
Witnessing in the language, witnessing does not imply that there is a witness. It's just it's a description of an activity, witnessing. Yeah? But the head uses it to go right to, there's a witness witnessing. Yes? So the witness is what? The last, but you see how the witness is produced is by claiming the witnessing. Yeah?
Yeah.
It has no light to shine on anything. This whole claiming it claims reflections. So it takes in the idea of seeing and then gives it a title, witnessing. And then, of course, it's the one that's doing the witnessing. So obviously, I'm the witness. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you wanted to have a clearer description of things, they would all have an ing on it mostly, yes?
Yeah.
Paul wouldn't be Paul, it would be Pauling, yeah? Or Chrising or stuff like that. It would be. It would be much clearer and wouldn't be able to be used to produce so much confusion. But again, this is why we're talking of non-duality. The language is a dualistic language. It's a language used by objects, yeah? A subjective language used by objects. Yeah? So from the object point of view, a subject, let's say the seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the tasting, the touching, with the mental logic that's produced in our heads, the logical point is the seer, hearer, feeler, taster, toucher. Yeah? So the touchstone of the seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching gets emphasized immediately because the seer, hearer, feeler gets emphasized. Yeah, it's just mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so sooner, at one point, you're going to recognize that what you're listening to as your daily whatever observer is based on the noun witnessing the verbs, not realizing that the witnessing is a verb and there is no nouns. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's
That
witnessing
is.
verbs, and it would be nice just to witness the assumed noun and see that as soon as you look at it or see it, there's nothing there, then it's just verbing. Yeah. So it's selfing, really.
Everything has been unfolding as you described, and your advice has been really good. For example, you're like, just notice that it's not you, and you have this instinct. Oh, I'm I'm going to lose interest in the self or something. And then, nope, that's just, that's just more
Yes.
doing it. I just notice myself losing interest in it. And I have a feeling of being lighter and also like I'm being blown along, letting things unfold, which is no different than it ever has been, honestly. Like, but it doesn't, but there's no apparent resistance, I guess, or less apparent resistance. And that's actually really hard for me. Bill Churchman raised this point last week that a lot of times you preface your remark by saying, as long as you didn't come from a background of abuse or whatever, then this is what it was like for you as a child. Well, that's not my experience as a child. So I think that does cause a little bit of, it's harder for me to trust, I guess, to trust anything. And but bit by bit
Well,
it's
so,
unfolding.
but look at this, Chris, let me just jump in there for a second. So something just said, that which you're not just said is harder for me to trust. There's trust in that. That
You mean like
statement, that's not of you. It isn't. It may fit occasionally, but it's not of you. Yeah, is assumed to be, and there's trust in that. There's trust in that statement.
I
We
get what
just
you're
want
saying.
to point out the uh, the patterns and the principles. I'm not interested in particulars unless they are used to illustrate pattern, yeah, or how things go. I really am not. I don't have much interest in the specifics of things because they're expressions of a limited amount of activities, yeah. And I feel the real change doesn't happen. Uh, it's going to be difficult to change the house after it's built than to change it when it's in the blueprint room, the blueprint state. Yes? So this to
Yeah,
me is, if self is arising, which it is, it's an activity. There is no self. There's the arising of self,
yeah,
produced by selfing, and the real trick of it is it says it's already it's always and already here. See, we don't get the arising of it. We just think it's us again. No,
yeah,
it's going to say it's us again. It's never been us, but it's given a historical flavor, and that historical flavor has you determined as that. Yeah. So you can't see, if there's a becoming of self, there could be an unbecoming of self. Yes. If there's got to be faith in self for it to appear to be so, then there could be a lack of faith in it and wouldn't appear to be so. But the way it overrides that is you're already that. It's not like you're becoming self or you're arising as self. You are one already. So it
yeah,
uses time to cement something that's always fluid, that can't be frozen. Yeah.
yeah. It
But
seems primary and permanent.
yes. So it's sort of like when the fish, when there's, let's say, consciousness, and then there's chum, and then there's a movement towards the chum, and there's an idea that you're a fish. Then when you bite the chum, you feel like you've been a fish for a long time. That's the arising of self now. Your historical feeling of being Chris is an arising now. There is no reality to the historical feeling of being Chris.
That's amazing.
It's arising now. So there's selfing. There's never been a self, and there never will be a self, yet there's selfing. And that selfing has this little, like, historic or time little trick that when it dawns on you, it seems to be dawning to you. That you were there before you were made up. No, it's not.
How does
You're
that happen?
always, you've never been constructed. You're always being built. Yes.
Amazing. I really
So,
appreciate this, and I'm sorry if I asked too many questions.
no, you don't. That's
I
fine.
try to space them out.
I know. No, you don't have to do anything. It's just, to me, it's just an opportunity to joke around.
I know, yeah, I deserve it, so
The
Thank you so
last thing
much.
you want to do is get heavy about something that's light. Yeah,
That's
it's just completely crazy
I
to get
laugh more in
serious
this
about
group than
something.
anywhere else.
I
You make me
mean,
laugh more than any comedian I ever heard. It's just
oh,
so
good,
ludicrous.
good. Well, if
It's like
this
a
gig doesn't last, I'll go on the road to senior citizen centers. I'll be like Seinfeld. My whole comedy routine will be based on observation.
on,
I
on nothing. Yeah, okay.
have a lot of stories.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
I rather appear on the nothing stage.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, my friend. It's so much. Thank you for having me come around and stuff. I don't know. I would probably have been institutionalized by now if I didn't
Well,
have these outlets, really.
well, I got a spare room in the basement, so
Well, you never
I'll lock
know.
you
I'm
up.
hoping. I
Can
don't know
lock you up downstairs.
what plans Amelia's hatching up at any moment. Who knows? I'm just rowing down down the street, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream.
All right, Paul. See you later.
I think it was better that I didn't know I was going to get hit by a car until I got hit by the car. I would have
Twice?
hated to be knowing I was going to be hit by the car for 4 years. That would have
Yeah.
been. And you know what? My precautions would have sped the whole event back up. I would have got hit sooner if I tried to avoid
Then you would have got hit
it.
3 times instead of 2.
I'd rather be in the dark until I run into the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Well, I'm glad you got run over by the car twice in one night, I guess.
I guess so, man. I don't know.
Sometimes things that seem like the worst thing in the world turn out to be the
I
best
know.
thing.
I know. Well, I think there was a momentum to be hell bent that needed some things to occur
Yeah,
to break its back. Yeah. I
the
just
wake up
believe
call.
so.
Yeah, yeah, I had
Yeah.
a similar thing happen. Yeah.
So
All right,
I
I got a lot of
wasn't
hands.
getting it. So finally, it just gave it to me in a graceful way. I got
Graceful.
structured.
There's nothing graceful about getting run over by a car, but I
No,
get what you
no.
mean.
Afterwards, when I got struck sober and
Oh,
being sober provided a lot of possibilities to arise. Yeah,
yeah.
huge amount. Yeah. So, yep. All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Chris.
Paul.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, we have Grateful Dave. Grateful Dave, come on in.
Grateful Dave. How are you?
Hey, good, Paul. Thanks for another good talk. I got 2 polls today, which is nice. Yeah, I
Balls
got
on
no
Tuesday.
questions. Yeah, it's a good Super Tuesday.
Yeah, Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I got no questions. It's just you were talking tonight and you mentioned this thing that we are as a touchstone, and that's sort of like I've been kind of feeling that I have a base state finally in my life, like a home, like the Buddhists talk about taking refuge in the Buddha. And I feel like I finally understand what the hell that is. And the thought came into my head as you were saying that, and I was thinking this, that how did I live so many years without this? And it instantly downloaded that it was always there. It was always
Yeah.
there. And yet there was a projection on it. It was belief or faith. There was something that always had to be given some form, right? And even if it was partying, right? That was thrown up there. Like their purpose was always put on top of this thing. Yeah, and I just really appreciate how clear your message is pointing at it. And it makes me a little frustrated that like, why didn't I learn this in preschool? This message is not a hard one to say, and it's not a hard one to grasp. How has it taken thousands of years since the first sages spoke these words, and still 90% of the planet is clueless, running around like people? Anyway.
Well, I guess that's how it's supposed to go.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes someone pointing it out, though. You can't, as as intelligent as I
And
think
you're
I might
lucky.
have been.
If that's what it takes, you're lucky.
Hmm.
There's pointing out. So yeah. See,
So you said before,
I feel that the overemphasis on the dreaming uh, creates a myopicness that doesn't need walls or blinders or things that you could see as obstructions. The mental state is the obstruction itself. Yes.
Hmm.
So it's not about uh, getting back. You never left. Uh, it's and it is the only existence, the I am. Yes.
Hmm.
Everything else you're giving name to and form isn't that which is perceiving.
Hmm.
Yeah. What's perceiving is not that which is perceived. Yeah.
Hmm.
The I am is the only existence. So no matter what you've been doing or how bad or good it was, and no matter how many dance steps or how little, there was the existence that was underneath it all. And it's always
Hmm.
been. It's the only foundation there is, which is nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the existence in us right now is the I am. Now, when the body stops, does the existence stop? I don't believe so. Yes?
No, I don't believe so.
Is there a limited amount of existence? I don't believe so. There could be 8 zillion appearances or 5 appearances.
Hmm.
It's whatever the head can come up with. Yeah.
Hmm.
But uh, the existent is that sense of being Paul. Underneath it is the I am. The sense of being Paul is manufactured. Yes? The sense is correct. The sense of being Paul is a story.
Hmm.
The sense of is definitely correct. But the sense of being Paul.
Hmm.
And there's a cherishing of the story. So it can only happen in time, but in time, you can seemingly forget all there is. Yeah. It can appear to be true that you've forgotten. And
Hmm.
hopefully the disillusionment and all this shit that happens to us will lead you to a point where the interest and attention in the action figure gets moved. Yeah. And now suddenly that which was always there, you can see its hand working in things. You start recognizing it, not because it just showed up, but because the interest and attention has left the preoccupation of the cherishing of self. Yeah. The cherishing of self would suck everything into a focus and time. Yeah. And now you miss what's happening because there was happening and there's going to be a will be happening. Yeah. And so this activity is like a movement in a weird way that is used to disguise that which is always available at all times. It's like that lady. It's a perfect story. I hate I should look at more of them, but this one I usually when something works, I just stick with it. And this story is simple about the woman in who has this beautiful necklace and then she loses the necklace. Yes, and she gets bummed out. And her joy in life has a lot to do with this necklace. And now she's really bummed out and she's complaining to friends. And then she asked them, would they help her look for the necklace? And it could turn into this whole freaking thing, and then envy for people who haven't lost their necklace or whatever. Tons of this stuff. And then
Hmm.
one day someone comes in and says, hey, stop looking for it and just feel your neck. And then suddenly she feels her neck and there's the
Hmm.
necklace. Yeah. Now, in
Hmm.
fact, the necklace hasn't gone, but in the story that the head's being made, she has now
Hmm.
found the lost necklace.
Mm.
It was truly lost for those months or years, and now she suddenly found it. So the dreaming goes on, lost or found. Yeah.
Mm.
The dreaming, I lost it, and then it's the story she was bummed out. This is what they call uncaused effects in Course in Miracles. When you're feeling super bummed out in a dream at night, that's uncaused effect. The dream wasn't or isn't happening. It was appearing to happen to you. Well, this is the same for the awake dream. Yeah?
Mm.
So here's this thing. It appears as if, and it just has to do because the interest and attention has been in a way captured and is being directed through the mental myopic view called self-centeredness, which excludes a lot of fucking possibilities.
Mm.
And this is why when things change in recovery, it pivots on the idea and the event of losing interest in self.
Mm.
Everything starts from there. Losing interest in self. Yeah. Why? Because that interest in self is fortifying and reinforcing the myopic view. Yeah. When you lose interest in it, myopic view becomes available.
Yeah.
And now you see the myopic. The myopic is like a jealous God. It will not brook any other fucking God. Yeah.
Mm.
The panoramic is a threat to the myopic.
Yeah.
The myopic is not a threat to the panoramic.
Yeah, that's interesting because the story with the woman with the necklace, for a lot of people, even myself, it might take a year of people pointing out that the necklace is still on her neck before she's willing or a willingness comes to reach up and grab it and believe the
That's
people
right.
around that's because I see
Exactly,
and we
exactly right.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much faith in that you've lost the necklace, you're not checking it out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is to question not where did you put the necklace, but that which believes it lost the necklace. And that
Mm.
questioning it will lead you to actually checking shit out, and they will realize
Feel
it's
the
there.
necklace.
Now it will regroup and say, oh, we found the lost necklace, but it was never lost, you see? But that's its mechanicalness. It presents one thing and it will claim the finding of it also. It will. It will claim whatever we bring it into contact with. If you have a huge awakening, it's going to say, whenever you come to, that you had the huge awakening. That's what it does. Yeah. As long as you're there, it's following. It's like the boat, the wake is not produced by the wake. It's from the boat. Yes. We're the juice that's producing this wake. We're living from the wake, thinking the wake is causing the boat. It's not the case. The horse is in front of the cart.
Mm.
I am, yes,
Yeah.
that is existence. I am Paul, an interpretation of existence.
Yeah. So
They're
that's why the message.
quite distinctly different. One is completely essential to the other. The other has no essentialness to the one. The existence does not need a story. The story has to have existence. Has to. Yeah. There would be no play. There would be no stage. It couldn't do any of this shit without it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that really helps explain why the message could be here for 3,000 years and still 90% of the planet is looking for a necklace. And some people,
Well, yes.
they don't even know they lost. They don't even know there is a necklace.
Well, because you have the eye, but you have glass. And now you've given the glasses the role of telling you how everything looks. If your eyes are glasses, the possibility that you can take them off becomes available. Like that. And was it not available? It has always been available. It was waiting for you to touch. Yes, there you go.
Mm,
No,
right.
don't fuck with my eyes. They're not your eyes. This is the way I see things. No, this is the way something sees things and says it's you. Yeah. One, you'll fight for its rightness. The other, you'll see it as, wow, fantastic, another possibility. Yeah. It's all determined on us here in a weird way. Yeah. So, yep.
And yet maybe we can't even choose to do it, right? I mean,
Well, if you think you can choose to do it, do it. Choose. But did you actually choose? Who knows? I don't think so, but hey, if you do,
well,
that may go a long way for it to be
well,
available.
yeah. If I would have been able to choose, even when I first heard your message, which is probably coming up on a year now, and it's deepened over time, I would have had this deepen in day two, but it doesn't. I can't choose it. I can just literally get the hell out of the way or something, or
Well,
let
yeah,
something get
whatever.
me out of
But
the
if
way. Yeah.
you feel like that's why Ramana, I feel emphasize, hey, the real, yeah, that's the real value in it. So when people were once again talking about predetermination or free will, and he said it, this is beautiful to me. He says, as long as there's a sense of individuality, which is what the selfing is producing, yeah, it uses the sense of I am to conclude it's Paul. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah. So this sense of individuality, as long as that's there, then the sense of free will is there. It doesn't say there's free will, it says the sense of free will. So when people call me and they say, I really believe I have to do something, I said, then you better do it. Because that's the toll, that's the gatekeeper at the gateless gate. You better pay him. You won't, at least this one time until you see it differently. So the beautiful thing is a sense of individuality is really the producer of the sense of free will. Everyone just skips over the sense of individuality and is very concerned about free will and predetermination. But it's like diverting the focus. Yes, it's like Dracula going out on a vampire hunt. Let's just look at the sense of individuality. We're saying here that is produced by the mental state. You are not producing it. You are not choosing it. You are not doing it. The idea of being you is being produced. Yes. Yeah. If it fits, wear it. See what happens. I'm pretty sure there'll be a traveling lighter. I don't know how it will look or how it will formulate, but I have a pretty good feeling that overall you'll start traveling light here. It's in store for you, and great. I mean, what a great thing to be a part of. Watching and seeing and traveling lighter with people. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
yeah.
all you do for everyone. I want to boost your
Well,
signal. There's more people in recovery that need to hear this, and um, you know, me,
that
me and
that's
Lucas
not
have.
that's not a problem with
What's
our
that?
signals strong. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I know. It's true, true, true.
I
Me
know.
and Lucas have played with the idea of making like they have these Alan Watts dubsteps. You listen to these it's like music and talks of Alan Watts. We're like, we need to do one of Paul Hedderman, and put it out there. So, but
Yeah,
anyway, thank you, Paul. Yeah.
I'm all for. I won't do it, but anyone can take this stuff and then if they want to do something with it, just run it by me. And yeah, I'm more than happy to have it be used for an effect. I'm just not the one that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't have much drive in that level. I'm
Thanks,
sure
Paul.
it will happen when we pass away. It will be, yeah, people will
Yeah.
do something with it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Bruce. Bruce, come on in.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it seems
Hey,
to me
Bruce.
that this is like the playing of both sides of the same coin. These appearances, I find by adding ing, to what I perceive as, things, seeing light rather than all the things I think I'm seeing. And it may be seen as the playing of God, but a little shift in emphasis, the playing of God. It's God playing both sides of the same coin. And these appearances, these arisings, where are they arising from? Where's the seeing from? And you oftentimes mention, that we're seeing from self, but if we're seeing from, and that's where I'm leaving off for you, because that's where I go blank.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we're not seeing from self, we're seeing, and then there's the activity that says we're looking from self, or we are the looker. But self has no looking or ability to see anything. Yeah. There's seeing, that's the supplier of all the light there is. And then there's the claiming of it, which is a way of reflecting a little bit of light and to distort it into a form of dreaming. And here we are. Yeah.
Okay, so more of a shining than a light. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever works for you.
whatever.
I have my own avalanches inside that work by certain sayings or certain statements. And you're more than happy to borrow them, or you can find your own. Yeah. So
Okay, thanks.
yeah, it's what's working with you, Bruce, that triggers a lightness. Just some of them will last the rest of your life, especially like in this seed assignment. Some of the things I said today, I've said since like 20 more years ago, because it produces like an avalanche type effect every time. So I don't try to collect these things. I just find ones that work because it's that avalanche feeling, that whoosh, that I'm looking to communicate, not cryptic statements. Yeah.
Well, and then what grateful Dave Ellen, the sharing that, yeah, someone constantly pointing that out, that it's been around forever, but that's where, seeing it as as God playing both sides of the same coin. And this, of course, being here is bringing all this, seems to be bringing all this about. Thanks again.
Yeah. Well, whatever spins your top, so to speak. Yeah. I'm all for it. As the point, I'm not looking for any. There's not going to be any stone tablets here. Yeah. Yeah. It's what gets moved or triggered I'm interested in, when whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. I don't care about the statement. I care about what it triggers. Yes, that's the point.
Well, that's
Yeah.
from the sense of losing interest, that felt sense of losing interest. Okay.
Yes, exactly. It's awesome. Yeah, because you never lose interest. You just lose interest in things. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when you were vacuous and in an arid mental area, you were constantly trying to blow some life into that space. Now you're just pulsating. Yeah. Those drives aren't, there's nothing there that compelling that those drives anymore. because you are what you're looking for, and there's a satisfaction and contentment. And on a lot of topics, you've reached the gauge of enough. Yeah, you just, yeah. That wasn't the case. I mean, I was voracious, that head. It was sucking up everything it could get, and none of it worked. It was like the hungry ghost with the huge belly and the small mouth. And things have occurred that put that to rest, and I'm forever grateful and in honor and awe, AWE, of this good news. Yes, not for the sake of the news itself, but because of the effects it can reveal. So yeah, yep. So nice to see you, Bruce. I got your letter. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I got it today. Thank you. Everyone, is that it, or are we still? Oh, yeah. Maybe we should call it a day, eh, Mike?
We have one more from Jack. Jack would like to come in for a minute. If you have
All
time.
right. One
Okay,
more for
Jack.
Jack. Yes.
All right, Jack.
Hi, hey, Paul.
Hey,
I
Jack.
really don't have a question or a share. I just don't want it to end.
Well, we can keep going. It's all right.
I've been laughing my ass off since I came on. It's just been awesome, you know. Thank you. You're the best, man.
Well, good. Thank you. Yes. Well, there's been a lot of laughing today. That's for sure. Earlier and now. Yeah. All right. Hey, Mike. Thank you so much, Michael S., for
Yeah, you bet.
basically taking over the Tuesday 4:30 meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome, Paul.
Running like clockwork. If it was, yes, you took the main variable out of it, which is me, which is great. That's good. Yeah. I'm better showing up at a meeting than forming a meeting. Yes, not so good. All right. Well, John from Florida, I'm really happy that you're in the jet, the what is that called? The jet stream. Yeah. Yeah. Just let it take you. It's great. Really is.
Thanks,
Nice.
Paul. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Nice to see it. And you're going to be very happy to give it away in whatever way that is. Yeah. Great. Bill Churchman also. Very happy I've met Bill this life, and it's fantastic. Same thing with Kerry and everyone else, really. Tyler, Alan, the man in the dark. Nice to see you, Alan. Kathleen, been a pleasure to watch Kathleen. Yeah. Mia, of course, the wild woman of Tasmania. Yes, she's you may have thought she was extinct, but she's not. She's alive and well in the fucking Joshua Tree area. Through a sandstorm, I could see her driving. Esteban, nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy. Yeah, you had the whole bowl. You just needed a little salt, maybe. Yeah, it's nice.
We all do. We all do.
Yes.
We all do.
Yeah, it finishes the meal. It's a good one. All right, Sherry, I had the great
Thank you.
pleasure to meet Sherry this weekend. Yeah, fantastic. Nice, very nice. Thank you
Thanks,
for
Paul.
being there, and all your wonderful cookies. I only got one of them. They were so good, everyone ate them before the master had a chance. But I did have one. I remember that.
Nice,
Thank you.
nice.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Chris B, as always, bro. You're a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Slap. Yes. Yeah. You didn't know when you were joined, so you can't unjoin. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't administered any lifelong tattoos on anyone, but that may be the thing we're going to start soon. A little Zen bitch slap tattoo. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We've got Nick C. Nice to see you, Nick. Yep. We got David Bitterman sticking with us. That's very nice, Dave. Tommy. I haven't seen Tommy, but I've seen this color quite a lot. I think he's in Ireland. So we got Ruby Rose has not only took the red pill, she took the blue pill at the same time. All right, very good. Yes. Jeffrey, Seattle. Nice to see you, Jeffrey. Yep. Well, not see you right now. Deborah. Nice to see you, honey. Bruce, alive and well. Yeah. Phil, nice to see you. If this has disappointed you, go back to the videos. Zoe, as always, nice to see you, Zoe. Yes, very nice. Danny in California. Yeah, ride that pink wave, Danny. Don't get off the wave when the wave says to get off. Don't get off before. Yes, yeah, it can keep going for a while. Marty, nice to not see you. Al, Vegas. He's double dosing today. This isn't a micro dose of satsang. This is a little heavier. Yeah, that's good. Jay, nice to meet you, Jay. JK or Jay something. Nice to meet you. Brian, there he is. Nina, there she is. Nice to see you, Nina. Yep. We got John Meister Eckert, whatever. Richard H, always a pleasure, Richard. I've had the opportunity to meet Richard. He's not a man of many words, but what he is speaks louder than what he says. Yes, good. Daniel, again, Lucas, Laurie. If I miss you, I apologize. Just can't see. I think that's it. Hey, thank you. We're around again tomorrow night. Everything, all the information of the Zooms and what we're going to be doing live are on the website. We'll have a live meeting this Saturday, and then February 3rd to 6th, we'll be in Mexico near Lake Chabala or somewhere. So I think we'll Zoom them, and so we'll have them up. But I do a lot of them, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, but yeah, they'll be down on the website. All right, thank you. See you guys later.